Antoine Griezmann's Premier League plans poo-pooed. Ronaldo gives his opinion on Messi. Juventus Stadium is getting a new name. Liam Gallagher compares Zlatan to a cartoon chicken. And a former Premier League star is forced to address rumours of his own demise. Welcome to the Goalmouth, ladies and gents, your daily compendium to what's good in the beautiful game, brought to you by the folks behind the Total Soccer Show, Howler Magazine and Dirty Tackle. My name's Ryan Bailey. It's Friday, June 2nd, which marks the 50th anniversary of the release of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in the USA, the 37th anniversary of the release of Abby Wambach in Rochester, NYC, USA, and the 28th anniversary of the release of Freddie Adu in Ghana. How is he still only 28? I don't quite get that. And why am I referring to births as release dates? Who knows? Anyway, on with today's show, and we start off with a question. What's French, 5'9", and won't be doing a silly Shaka hang loose hand celebration at Old Trafford next season? Bingo, it's Antoine Griezmann. Manchester United have reportedly been pursuing the Atletico Madrid forward's signature for months and months and months and months, but according to a source close to United, according to the BBC, he's no longer a priority. The official reason given for this? The long-term injury to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which has forced the club to change their priorities, with doubts over the Swede's future beyond the expiry of his contract on 30th of June. Right. As an explanation, that makes absolutely no sense. They've known Zlatan has been injured for quite a while. He's not a light-for-light replacement for Griezmann, and we know United have got way more money than sense than to use that as a reason for holstering the old checkbook. A much better explanation comes from the news that Atleti's summer transfer ban has been upheld, as reported in yesterday's Goalmouth, so they won't be able to replace Griezmann if he does leave. Sorry, Diego Costa, it's Chelsea or China for you. And I've just realised I've buried the lead in this pod. It's Champions League Eve. I can't wait to open my Champions League stocking in the morning, sing some Champions League hymns, the champions, and then feel lethargic and slightly disappointed with the drab 1-0 Real Madrid win. Before the big show in Cardiff, Cristiano Ronaldo has spoken up about his relationship with some fella called Lionel Messi, because apparently they have a rivalry. Who knew? He said, "I'm not his friend, but we are colleagues," to Spanish Fox Sports. He continues, "We don't sit down to eat together, but I respect him. He's a work colleague, not a rival." He added, "When they ask Messi about Cristiano," nice third personing there, Cristiano, "he talks positively about me. My relationship with him is cordial and we have mutual respect for each other." It doesn't sound like they've got the best relationship there, so it looks like we'll have to wait a few more years after they retire before they start bitterly sniping at each other like Pele and Maradona do. Patience, young ones, patience. At this point, I'd like to remind you that you can help support us by buying your soccer gear at soccerpro.com. Use the promo code GOALMOUTH20, all caps, one word, for 10% off at soccerpro.com. Go on, treat yourself to something. It is Champions League Eve after all. Italian Stadium name confusion update now. In a bid to have a company pay them some money for prominently displaying their brand name, Juventus Stadium, also known as J Stadium, will now be known as Allianz Stadium from next month. Now, aside from the jumping on the corporate bandwagon, this renaming presents a bit of a problem. The Munich-based financial services company already lend their name to Bayern Munich's Allianz Arena. It's also quite similar to Sydney's Allianz Stadium, home of Sydney FC. It also passes a resemblance to Nice's Allianz Riviera. It's also quite like Palmeiras' Allianz Park. It's also a bit like Rapid Vienna's Allianz Stadion. It's also a little bit like Allianz Park in London, home of rugby club Saracens. So yeah, Allianz stadiums are a bit like Starbucks. They're popping up on every street corner these days. Okay, I better hurry up and get to the next story. They're turning my studio into an Allianz Stadium in about 5 minutes, so I better tell you about Liam Gallagher's latest comments. The second most talented Gallagher brother in Oasis is releasing a solo album too. Ooh, so he's been even gobbier than usual. When asked about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the world-famous Man City fan said, and get ready for my Manchester accent here, "He looks like that effing cartoon. You remember, that big effing rooster. Google it. It was around the time of Tom and Jerry, a big rooster dude. I'm not having him. He's United, isn't he?" Yes, he is United, Liam, and apologies for that accent. And presumably you're referring to the cartoon Forkhorn Leghorn. So, I says, sir, Zlatan probably hasn't heard that insult before. It's a new one on me. And finally today, Mark Twain once said words to the effect of, "The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated." And a similar sentiment has now come from a former Premier League striker. Earlier this week, reports surfaced that Benny McCarthy had perished in a car crash in London. And upon hearing this fake news, former Blackburn and West Ham striker Benny McCarthy was forced to post a video on Facebook to make it clear his heart is still very much beating. Unless this is one of those Avril Lavigne, Paul McCartney situations where the real Benny McCarthy has been replaced by a very convincing lookalike. It's time to get your tinfoil hat on and fire up Reddit, guys. Alrighty, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the Champions League final this weekend. And if you love us, and I hope you do, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and to buy something on soccerpro.com using promo code GOALMOUTH20 for 10% off. Brooks Peck is with you on Monday. I leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. Sticks and stones may injure his bones, but names will never hurt Zlatan. So don't be mean to him if you're releasing an album and you want him to be nice about it. Love to your mothers. See you next time.